Hello, good evening. Good evening. Hope everyone is well. My name is Tabrice, and this is the Stoppage Time Penalty Show. Let me take that off. Thank you guys for coming on. I have Jose and I have Coach Barry on the show. How are you guys doing?
I'm great, Tabrice. Everything's fine, thank you. How are you, sir?
Feeling good.
Good. I'm feeling good. Red is definitely the color. Let's not go too much into it. Isn't that right, Coach?
No, enjoy. It's a win, isn't it? So enjoy it. It's a win.
A win's a win.
When you're on top, enjoy. When you're on top, I always say that. Enjoy.
100%. 100%. So, Jose, you are in. Actually, well, rather than me talking about where you are right now, could you kind of briefly give the viewers out there exactly where you are?
So I have now moved to Finland. The town's called Kajaani. It's so the capital of the way Finland works is quite interesting. The capital's all the way in the bottom down south. It's Helsinki, and Kajaani is like central Finland, but 6 hours away from Helsinki, which is where I actually flew to. Big long trip and a very different environment from where I was, but I'm really excited for the year. I'm really excited for the project that's been put ahead of me. I've played 2 preseason friendlies now, really enjoying it. I feel really welcomed, have adapted quite well. So I'm really excited for the year.
Yeah, love that. And Coach, what's been going on with independent lads?
Oh, like I told you, this year I started coaching a new team. I'm running a new under-10 team at Independent. We started in the 5th division, and we've been moved up. They've won every game, and now they've moved up to the 2nd division. The under-16s are still, I think they've lost 1 game in the league this season, and they're top of the league, so they did very well. Same with the under-12s, and the under-13s have won their last 2 games. So things are looking very healthy at Independent Youth at the moment. It's going really well, and we should be doing trials, which I'll put out on the platform, and I'll put it over the social media soon. Trials for all age groups. We're starting some new, very young teams. So we're looking for boys as young as 7 up to 14 for next season.
Great stuff. No, well, I mean, again,
we're doing well. We're doing very well. The under-10s have surprised everyone how good they've improved from Division 5. They moved straight up to Division 2 in 3 months.
Wow.
But at that age, if you're too strong, they move you straight up.
Yeah. Okay.
So they won every game, and there's winning games. Some of the games were double figures, so it didn't make sense. So first season to develop so quickly is great.
Amazing. And sorry, I know I'm going to bring it back to the Liverpool-Chelsea game, but I mean, Coach, what did you think about the game? And do you think it was the right decision? I mean, sorry for anyone that hasn't watched it, so apologies, but do you think Chelsea were right to substitute their goalkeeper?
Well, Kepa's got the record of the best. He's the best. He's made the most saves, or something. He's got a record of being the best shot stopper, goalkeeper, saving the most penalties. Did you know that in the history or something like that?
Yes,
that's why. Yeah, that's why they've done the change. But tonight, I don't think he saved 1. Did he?
No.
He didn't look like saving a penalty neither. So,
so
today proved it was the wrong decision. It proved to be the wrong decision.
If you had someone like that on the bench that you knew that could either score a penalty or save or literally have a goalkeeper, would you have made that same decision, or would you trust everyone that was on the pitch?
It all depends on what is going on the day, how I think the players' mentality is on the day. I think everybody looks at penalties and watches penalties and I think it's really easy just to take a pen. But as we all know, we've seen guys miss penalties. Remember, they've got 60, 70,000 people watching as well. The match's been viewed around the world. There's a lot of pressure, especially when everybody else is expecting you just to score because they've scored already. So there's a lot of pressure on penalties. It's not as easy as people think. You just got, it's only players with that mindset. I'm just going to put it there. And there's a lot of guys change. You can see them changing their mind. Sometimes before they even take the kick, everybody knows he's going to miss or it's going to be very close. You can tell, isn't it? So, but if you've got specialists on the bench, what do you do? I think maybe they've done it. Remember, a lot of the time it's premeditated. That if we get to this stage, this is what we're going to do. That's what a lot of clubs do. So they made the sub. Everybody's saying Mendy's angry, but if the club's already decided this is what we do, we get in this position at the end of the game, it's something they planned already. But everyone's got their own opinion. Everyone's got their own opinion.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I feel like very little in football. There's still like that element of randomness and unpredictability, but nowadays, very little is actually completely random. You know, the planning for games goes beyond just your formation and the 11 that are playing, and that's it. You do, you know, what do you do when this happens? What do you do when this happens? If this doesn't happen, how do you react? Everything's like so rehearsed as well. Like you drill so many different scenarios that it's just everything's like somehow pre-planned, even with that element of unpredictability.
And so, Jose, have like you taken a penalty before?
I've taken penalties before. I have not actually had the chance to take one in an official professional fixture yet, though. Actually, now that I think about it,
would you be in the top 5? Would you be one of the 5 to step up the first 5?
Yeah, I've got no problem in doing it. If someone asks me to do it, I'm doing it. It's always like there's always an element of pressure to it. There's always an element of nerves.
Always, yeah.
Yeah, it's part of it. It's part of football. In the end, you know, we shoot penalties for banter all the time after sessions. But, you know, what different? There's no difference. It's still football. You still got to believe in yourself. So if I'm happy to step up always.
Okay, but you know, Jose, you like said something which, sorry, I'm just gonna latch onto. You said if the manager asked me to. So would you actually say to the manager, I want one, or like would you only come up if the manager asked you to?
I'm keen to do it. I've got no problem, and I will volunteer to do it. But then it's in the end, it's not my decision. And usually, he's already got in his mind who he wants to, you know, to take a penalty. And then someone can step up and it can be rejected by the manager. I've seen it happen before. Ultimately, we can volunteer ourselves, but ultimately it's going to be his decision.
Yeah. Cool. Before we officially start the show out, I just want to briefly talk about the Leeds situation right now. Bielsa, I don't know if he left or he got sacked. I'm not too sure. Coach, what did your kind of brief opinion about that decision?
Well, remember I predicted it on the previous show we had about Leeds and Bielsa, and I said if he doesn't change the way they play, the way he leaves the side so open, plays against every team the same way, he's going to lose. It's the Premiership. He's got to be able to adapt to the Premiership, and I don't think he's adapted. His style hasn't. He's just kept it exactly the same. Like I said, even if your Leeds are beating you 2-0, you still have a chance. They never consolidate that lead and come solid and drop back. They just play straight open. So you've always got a chance against Leeds. Yeah. And he come unstuck in the Premiership, you will come unstuck. Yeah. You will come unstuck because he's had injuries and he still played the same way. His defenders aren't the best. His defense ain't the best, nowhere near the best in the Premiership. But he continues to play this open, free style of football where anyone can win. And it's cost him his job. Like I said, it will cost him his job. And it has.
Jose, would love to get your quick opinion.
I agree with that. I mean, I don't know, obviously, the inner workings of it. I don't know who's made the decision. It could be that he's put his place at their disposal. Obviously, there's no way to entirely tell. But in the Premier League, you can't just plug and play a formation and stick with it all through. It's what we said. There's elements of unpredictability. Everything's premeditated, but there's also so much you can control without changing.
Yeah.
But they've conceded how many goals in their last 3 games? They've conceded
about 20. Is it about 15 or 20? Something.
Goals. Come on, man.
Yeah.
And you're still getting out playing exactly the same way.
Yeah.
It's
crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
it reaches a point where you have to change something as well.
Yeah, come on, it's not. Come on.
Yeah.
They're 16th in the table. I mean,
yeah, literally not. And you know,
and I do like him as a manager. I like his coaching style. I like so much about what he does, but he seems like a very stubborn man.
Yeah.
Like, his way, this is the way we're going to play. I'm not changing it. This is the way what works, and it's not working, Bielsa. It's not working.
Not working. And you know, and of course, you know, I spent the majority of my kind of child and adulthood in that Leeds as well. Everyone kind of knows my my journey in the Leeds Academy, so you know, I've got a lot of affiliations with like Leeds. So let's move on because I know Coach is going to say something. I know. So yeah. So today, or tonight, should I say, I've got the pleasure of having Kevin Lokko. Hopefully, I've pronounced his surname right. Again, I mean, I've seen highlights of of this man. He's a beast. Like he puts everything on it. Like there's literally no, I'm not gonna say no nonsense, but like there's a kind of meaning to everything that he does. So Kevin's going to be on to talk about his journey, and of course we will ask him questions about his journey, mindset, sacrifice, etc. And then at 9 o'clock we have the Masters segment, and again I'll literally briefly go through the fixtures that happened yesterday and the tables, and then that's it. So hey, like let's kind of start the show. So in the background, Kevin's been patiently waiting. Thank you so much. Let me add Kevin to the stream. Good evening, sir. How you doing?
How you doing, guys? Thanks for coming, man.
Good evening, Kevin.
How you doing?
Good evening. So hey, have I pronounced your surname correctly? Lokko?
Lokko, that's it, yeah.
Ah, see, straight in. Did you watch the Liverpool game today?
I did, yeah. Unfortunately, you still got your T-shirt on, so I'm sorry. Obviously, you're disappointed in that, but I mean, I'm disappointed you won. But no, yeah, it was a strange one, really. The whole keeper situation, I wasn't too sure about that. Yeah, I wasn't too sure about that keeper situation. I'm not a fan of changing keepers mid-game penalties. So, yeah, I wasn't a fan of that, but started it before the game, like you guys touched on. And obviously Mendy was on board with that, but obviously what worked for him today.
He did look happy, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's just come off AFCON as well. He had a great AFCON.
Yeah.
Obviously they went into the penalty shootout in the final as well. So with his current mentality, he was probably thinking, you know what, I'm the best man for the job today, especially when it comes to taking a pen. You know, I'm sure he would have been confident to do that. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but
it is what it is. But hey, let's kind of park Liverpool's record-breaking cup triumph to the side, and let's focus on you, Kevin. So, Kevin, could you kind of please talk to the audience, your like journey into football and literally where you are at this present moment in time?
Yeah, started playing football probably at the age of 12, 13, so quite a late comer. I never really had the desire, or not desire, but I never had the realistic ambition of becoming a pro. It was more a case of just a community thing and just mixing with friends and just keeping active. And to lose a bit of weight, I'm going to be honest, I was quite a big kid. So that was my main aspect into getting into football. After a year or two, started to realise I was pretty good. Well, parents and coaches would tell me I was pretty good. I was just playing for a local team, Redbridge, in the Echo League. So it was nothing really special about my talent at that time. And then all out of the blue, I got picked up by Norwich City. And it was a massive surprise. So I sort of went down to Norwich on a 6-week trial with not much expectation, just to put, it's a bit of an experience, and just to see what professional footballers or professional academy players were like. So I went for it, and they signed me. It was crazy. I think it was a theme throughout my early stages of my career that I had a bit of like imposter syndrome. I never really believed that I was quite at the level, purely because of my background. All these players were playing from under 8s, under 9s. By that time, I wasn't really even playing football. I was sort of just at school, have a little kickabout, but I was never the best in my school. I was never really the best at Redbridge. So I feel like I was always playing catch up, which at the time I thought was to my detriment, but really and truly, I think it actually helped me improve, because I always felt like I was off of everyone else, but really and truly, I probably wasn't. So I was at Norwich City. I signed a scholarship there. I didn't manage to get pro there, but I signed professional at Colchester United in League One, which was great. But I had a horrible injury to my hip, which required surgery. So I had to drop into non-league football. Non-league football, so National League football. I was at Dover, Maidstone, Welling United. But then I managed to get moved back into the Football League. It didn't work for me at certain clubs. Went to Stevenage. Last season I was at Harrogate United, Harrogate Town, sorry. And yeah, I've sort of flirted between National League and Football League. I'm currently at Aldershot Town in the National League, and I guess my goal was to enjoy my football, because I think because of COVID and because of certain situations, maybe picking the wrong club, maybe chasing some sort of Football League status meant a lot to me. I wanted to be in the Football League, but I maybe wasn't ready at the time that I went. So now it's all about enjoyment, stability, and just getting back to playing football. And I guess the rewards will come if I'm enjoying my football. But yeah, that's where I'm at now.
Well, you know what? Round of applause, man. Come on, round of applause, man. Because like again, that's 100%. Like that's like literally like a lot of sacrifice. I mean, again, we will literally probably talk about mindset, but I can't even imagine the like roller coaster of emotions that you've been on. But let's kind of start with Jose. Jose, would kind of love to get your first question to Kevin.
I want to ask, so a lot of you just said now I identify with that. So with my background was very different to some of the players I was playing with as well, who had been at academies their whole life, and I didn't really get that chance, obviously, especially with being from Portugal and then going to play in the UK. It's a different background. So considering that, how did you deal with it mentally to overcome what you saw as a barrier at the time? How did you deal with it?
In terms of entering like the sort of academy, is that what you mean?
Yeah, basically you had that in your mind that you had a different background from everyone else. How did you overcome that barrier?
It's a good question. I'm not sure if I ever did. I'm gonna be honest. It was really a case of I think I understood the position I was in. I was realistic with the fact that a lot of these kids have been playing football for a long time, and I understood that. I think one of my strengths is that I can stop and be in the moment and realize where I'm at. And I understood that was a barrier, that these kids were playing from 8s, 9s. But for me, from an early age, I always told myself that could be a strength, the fact that I've got catch up to do. And like I said, I might be in a position where a coach will look at me and be like, you know what, he's doing good. But to my mind, I've got 2, 3, 4 years to catch up on. These kids have been playing at a professional setup. They're going to have technical advantages. They're going to have tactical advantages. I've got to do a lot more to get to the level that they're at. And I think just with every sort of barrier, there's always a sort of positive outcome. And I think that ability to be in the mindset to improve, and that's what I've held on to me for my whole career. Just to, you might be in a situation where you're not as advantageous as other players. But look, that's a challenge, and I think I've always enjoyed the challenge, and I've always enjoyed improving, and I think that improvement aspect is what got me through. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, amazing. And coach would love to get your question.
No, I think it's excellent, and it's a testament to what you've done. Firstly, that you got released and come back and got the contract at Colchester. A lot of boys who get released from academies just give up, and you didn't. You kept on going, and then you had a terrible hip injury, and you came back from that again. That takes a lot of strength and courage to do that, and determination. So I applaud you all the time at that. But you're a perfect example of what the FA are investigating at the moment. Why so many players come through late and make professional footballers. Much more than boys you're talking about who's been in the academy system from 8 years old, 7. Majority of those boys don't make it.
Yeah.
It's the ones who, so now they're researching why do so much latecomers become professional footballers. Is it the hunger? Is it because the ones who's been in there are a bit robotic and their game becomes very predictable? Because once you go in the academy, where I go and watch academies, a lot of the boys play exactly the same. Like I said to the Breeze, when you go into academy, if you bring something different, that's what they like. Why don't they want 10, 15 boys who are exactly alike and play exactly the same way? And the way you've described it to Breeze is like, Kevin can answer for himself. He must have some presence on that football pitch. So I don't know what type of player, if you're a touch, if you're... What position? I don't know what position you play, Kevin. What position?
Back, yeah.
Centre back, because I'm saying it.
Yeah.
Oh, no nonsense. No nonsense.
No,
yeah.
Or a ball playing, or you're a mixture of a ball playing in the back.
You know what?
Well, who would you model yourself on? Who would you say you play that?
You know what? I've always told myself.
Don't say to Breeze though.
Like, you know what? I think when I was watching, when I was watching Vincent Kompany.
Oh wow!
Yeah. I feel like there was a lot of. Obviously, look, he's played at the highest level, and
but everyone's got a way.
Yeah, I think I think he had a good balance. He was a leader. I think I'm a leader. I'm a character. He no nonsense. He puts his head where it hurts. He enjoys defending, but he had ability on the ball as well, and he had that composure.
Yeah.
I think so. Throughout the academy, where everyone was so technically gifted from being in the academy setup and doing their drills and their repetition, I was naturally raw. I was naturally I was strong. I was athletic, but the technical aspect wasn't quite there. Understandably, I was not in the academy setup. So when I signed, I made sure that if I was to come away with anything, or if I was to not get a pro, I'd make sure that I'd really, really improve my technical aspects. So that's staying back after training. I'd get bounced out. I'd pass against the bounce ball, turn out, pass against other bounce ball, just keep doing loads of repetition and stuff. And it got to a point where when I got released from Norwich and I went to Oxford United, I went to Sheffield Wednesday, I went to Brighton, I went to all these clubs on trial. And do you know what they said to me? They said, "You're technically excellent, but we want to see your defensive side." And that was quite a nice thing to hear, because I was always classed as a guy who was such a beast and such a unit, but I'll never really praise my technical aspects. But when I'm going to Championship clubs and League One clubs, and they're praising my technical ability, that made me realise, you know what? That 2 years I had at Norwich, that 3 years I had at Norwich, I really improved, because clubs are now telling me they want to see my defensive side. So going back to what you said, you know, I'd like to think now I found the balance of the technical and defensive side, and I think I understand who I am as a player, and that comes with a lot of experience, and that comes with playing games. And the more games I've played, the more I've realised, look, I'm not Christensen from Chelsea, but then again, I'm not like a head on a stick who can't play. I found a good balance, and I think, you know, to Breezy, obviously you've looked at some of my clips, and I'm pretty sure you saw a good little mixture, you know. Defensively, no nonsense, but also comfortable to get on the ball and hit my dags and hit the front man and get the ball from the keeper. So yeah.
And how you like mentioned how your network of your parents like around you like supported you. How important is it to literally have that network of like people that literally not only believe in you, but will literally tell you as it is, black and white?
Yes, I've got a daughter now. Obviously, I haven't got a son. If I was to have a son, I think that my mum and dad didn't really have much of an idea about football, so a lot of the time they just trusted my judgment. And not everyone is in a situation where they have their mum or dad or have people around them, but it's still possible to drive yourself. It's more difficult, but I think if you have that sort of that surroundings of people telling you how it is and not to get too carried away and not to get too low, never too high and never too low. That's what I always tell myself. And yeah, I think it's really important to have that sort of surround system. But if you don't, anyone listening to this, if you don't have that, you can get inspiration from other ways. You're going to make mistakes along the ways, and I've made plenty of mistakes, but I'd like to think a mixture of a good family set up and people around me, along with some of my own internal sort of driving motivators to help myself as well. You know, I think it's good not to rely on people, but at the same time be some sort of a sponge to good information you're getting. And it's about getting that balance of both.
Love that. Jose, would love to get your next question.
I'm going to ask more about the actual playing now, because from what I've seen, I believe you are a left-sided centre half, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, so hold on. So you're left-footed as well?
Yeah, left-footed. Yeah.
See, the best defenders are always left-footed.
Yeah.
Well, left-sided central defenders nowadays are like gold dust. They're so hard to find, and they're so valuable. And have you always played as a central defender, or have you experienced other positions as well? How did you find them, if that happened? How did you start?
Yeah. So I started off as a left back because when I was at Redbridge, I think I was like the only left-footed guy on the team, so they naturally just put me left back. But then obviously when I got my growth spurt, when I went to Norwich, they sort of saw my growth spurt, and my mechanics were sort of going all over the place, because when you get taller and the coordination in your body and stuff, it can be quite tough to maintain a certain level of like movement and technical ability. So they moved me into centre half. One regret I do have, or not regret, but one thing I wished I incorporated from earlier on, is to be able to like play in multiple positions. I think, especially in training, if you're centre half or left back, wherever it is, if you just get used to playing in multiple positions, one, it helps your technical ability. Two, there'll be times in the game where you find yourself in the centre of the pitch, and if you get the ball, you need to be able to know what to do with it. But also, three, it helps you understand other people's roles. So for me as a centre back, I need to understand what my centre midfielder is doing, because I'm the one that's going to be talking to him, telling him left, right, push on, drop off, and I need to understand his position to be able to do that. So I think it's key to when you're younger, especially, to have a good familiarity with different positions. That's one thing I didn't do as much. I had to learn as I went on about other people's positions, and like I said, the extra work I had to do behind the scenes to get my technical ability up to scratch. But I think that would have been easier if I was a lot more comfortable playing in multiple positions. So to answer your question, no, I've always sort of played centre back. But yeah, I had to learn sort of as time went on, had to get used to being in certain positions in the pitch, because there'll be times where I get the ball, especially like earlier on in my senior career, I'd get the ball, I'd be doing a recovery run, and one of the defenders would pass me the ball. I'm in the middle of the pitch, and I was just like, oh, like this is every touch back to goal and just pass it back to the keeper. And I had so much time to turn, but like, yeah, that it come with time. So it would have been a lot more useful if I was to, get used to that sort of scenario when I was younger.
Yeah.
Do you think that in academies they're placing players in positions a bit too early and just making them stick to it too soon?
I'm not sure about now, but yeah.
Or at least when you were coming through.
Yeah, when I was coming through, everyone was sort of once you'd been sort of not allocated, but once you've been sort of identified as a certain position, you just be in that position and you just work on those sort of aspects. Whereas I think it's good if you're all rounded. But then again, there's two ways of looking at it. You could be an all-rounded player, but then when you get to a certain age, you don't actually know who you are or what your best position is because you're so well-rounded. So it's about getting that balance, really. Like you need to be comfortable playing multiple positions, but you also need to get a career in the game. Do you know what I mean? And you need to be able to establish yourself and have key strengths that will separate you from other people. So it's just, I keep saying the word balance, but literally it's all about balance.
Yeah, love that. And Coach Barry, would love to get your next question.
No, but I just want to know how Kevin dealt with a lot of the transitions, because you played like certain levels and then back down to non-league, then come back up. How do you deal with that transition? How do you adapt? Because I've watched a lot of non-league and lower levels, and the club spirit is totally different at certain levels. So how do you find those transitions? Or sometimes is it very frustrating because it's completely different sometimes at lower levels?
Yeah, tough, really.
It's tough, isn't it? I know it's tough. I know, because I've got a lot of young players going through that now. So I'm just asking you, how do you cope with that? And some managers tap some. Anyway, I don't want to get into that.
It is tough because, again, like I said, when I was at the academy, so my second year scholar at Norwich, we won the FA Youth Cup. So we beat Chelsea in the final. It was live on ITV. Within 2 years, playing from playing at Stamford Bridge against Chelsea in the FA Youth Cup final. Within 2 years, no, a year and a half, I'm playing down at Welling United.
Sugar.
On a high street, 100 fans in the stadium. And I sat there, I was about to start the game. And I looked around me and I said, wow, this is different. Like, this is crazy. But one thing I told myself is that if I want to have that sort of taste of playing at Stamford Bridge or getting a career in the game or just doing better for myself, I need to master it here. And I need to be able to play here. But look, these are men. They're playing for paying bills. They're here to get their bonuses, to afford their, just to help their lifestyle and that. So, sorry about that.
No, I said, what age was you when you went to after the youth? Was you 18 or 19?
19. So obviously, left Norwich, went to Colchester, and then obviously I got released at Colchester because I hadn't played a game. I was injured. So yeah, I was 19 playing for Welling United. That was my debut for senior football. Wow. Yeah, that was my debut, and it was an experience. It was crazy, but I learned a lot about myself. And I think a lot of young players, when you come out of academies and you go to senior football, you can look at it in two ways. You can go there and think, right, I've got a lot to learn here because I'm not used to this. This is so different and I need to learn this and I need to, or you go to non-league football and you look at it like, wow, I can't even perform here. Like, I'm getting bullied. Like, I'm getting, like, football's not for me. Like, I might as well just quit, because if I can't be the best player here, then what am I doing? Like, I'm obviously not good enough. So you need to just understand. And I had to tell myself that I'm a good player. I've come from an academy. It means I've got some sort of ability. But for me to get back up into the Football League, I need to be able to mold myself and just ruffle up all these like rough edges to this diamond that I am. And that comes with playing games and just becoming accustomed to senior football. And I can't explain how beneficial we got relegated at Welling. Like, that was, it should, on paper, it was a horrendous year. But for me personally, I learned so much. I played against players who playing in League One, they've dropped down. I think they're like mid-30s now, and they're just big and they're clever. I'd try and go for a header. They'd nudge me at the right time in the right area, and they'd get flick. Like, little things like that is invaluable, because you might think you've got technical ability. You might think, oh, I was in the academy, so that means I can play Prem, I can play Champ. But even at Prem and Champ, it's not academy football. They're still strong. They can still bully you, but they've got technical ability as well. So non-league football is perfect for, it was perfect for me. and it'd be perfect for a lot of people come out of academies because they look at Premier League football and they think it's all technical. No, they don't realise that it's difficult, it's hard, it's fast-paced, it's intense, and it's a lot of things that academy football doesn't prepare you for. So, yeah, like I said, I always say try and play as high as you can. But if you're in a situation where you're playing non-league, like I did, you have to keep your head strong and not think, wow, look at this. I'm playing with, there's like a man walking his dog. Like, you can't think like that. You just have to try and master it and then slowly build up. So to answer your question, it was very tough mentally. It was tough. It's such a tough transition, but I managed to keep my head and I kept strong. So yeah, and now we're here.
Oh, amazing. Sorry, coach, you wanted to say something else?
My mic was muted. No, I was going to say to Kevin, there's a large number of boys who come from academies now. They're sending them on loan to a lot of non-league clubs. And a lot of them are really struggling when they get into men's football. I'm talking about 18s and, the under-23s they have now. A lot of them cannot play non-league football. They really struggle and they get sent back to their professional clubs. And exactly the reason what you're talking about. They see a lot of the non-league players maybe a bit fat, but they've got the experience, and a lot of them have come down from much higher levels and playing that level. And the young guys going to think, oh, I'm from this club, I'm from a championship club or whatever. And they get the shocks of their life because they've never, ever played men's football.
Yeah.
So I can relate to everything what you're saying. That's what I was going to say to you, just to add that.
So, Kevin, I mean, do you see football as a job? And I know that's a silly question, but I would, what's your feeling about it?
Yeah, I mean, for my situation, it's a job. I mean, without being counterintuitive to what we're trying to do right here and inspiring people and stuff, in my situation, I've gone through some trauma with football. I'm going to keep it real. I've gone through some serious trauma. Not everyone's career and not everyone's situation will be like mine. There won't be, it might be, but there'll be some element of hardship. I've gone through an awful lot. So for me, it's come to a time where I've got my daughter, and it being a job is important for me. When we're looking at contracts, when we're looking at clubs, it has to be the right fit for me. And also when it comes to the enjoyment side, I love football. I love playing football. Let's not get twisted. I've been playing it. I'm so grateful to be in the position I'm in. But I think as you get later on in your career, it is a job because, look, football's not the end-all be-all. You need to come to a time where, look, we all want to chase a dream. We all want to play as high as we can, but there's life as well. So for me, in my situation, it's a job, but it doesn't mean I don't love my job. But first and foremost, is a job, but it's a job that I enjoy, which is what I'm trying to say. But it's not a case where, I'll play for free, I can't. And that's my personal experience with football at the moment. I've got a lot of things to think about, but look, it's one of the best jobs in the world. So it's a very enjoyable one at that. Yeah.
Love that. And Jose, would love to get your next question.
So what I think about football always is you can feel the highest of highs, but there's also the lowest of lows. I'd like to hear from you both points of your career. So where would you have said that you've felt the highest you've ever felt and the lowest that you've ever felt, and how did you bounce back from that low back into another high?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I guess I think winning the FA Youth Cup with Norwich was probably the highest of highs because I was at it was live on ITV1. We're playing Chelsea. I didn't even play. I was on the bench for the final. So, but the fact that I was in that squad that were crowned FA Youth Cup champions, we all assumed that we'll all get pros. We were just set. Norwich had never won the FA Youth Cup. I mean, it was always Chelsea, Arsenal, even Man City and stuff. We won the FA Cup. It was a massive achievement. We all come up.
Yeah.
we all came away from that thinking, wow, like we're going to be pro. We are playing in the Prem. Like this is the next generation of Prem, and if we're the best winning the FA Youth Cup, then we're going to be the best. Like we're going to play for Norwich in the first team. Easy, done. That was my high, but it was a false high because, you know, it was at that time how I felt. The lowest of lows, I guess maybe last season. So I worked so hard in non-league to try and get my move. Harrogate Town got promoted to the Football League two years ago now. So sort of through COVID, and I signed for them in League Two. And you know, I moved my partner up to Leeds, and yeah, we had our baby up in Leeds, which was great. But the football aspect, and if we're talking football terms, I didn't play all season, and it was a struggle because with COVID, being up in Leeds, completely different city, you know, it was tough mentally. Obviously, my partner was pregnant, and we didn't know how that was going to go with the pregnancy and COVID and stuff. So that, alongside football and being away from mum and dad and family and friends and not being able to see them, that was my biggest low. It's not just football related, but life related. That was a massive low for me. Yeah, that's definitely my big low.
And even though it's not football related, like it still impacts you at training, in the changing room, and in kind of match situations. And I think a lot of football fans don't realize that there's so much going on behind the scenes. We are just human beings and literally most of us have the like the same issues as everyone else. It's just the fact that there's some like people that we watch on TV, and we actually think that they're just robots.
Yeah, it happens, and that's where you come to the sacrifice side of things. Because in my case, when I was my first proper professional year in Portugal, I was away from my girlfriend who was in England, and then I came to England. I was away from my parents who were in Portugal, and it's never happened where I had both, and it's part of the sacrifice in football as well. And people forget that because they're watching you play on the pitch, they're watching you play on TV, and they forget that there's a human side of it as well. It happens 100%. A lot.
100%. Coach, would love to get your question.
Yeah, my question is very important, especially for someone like Kevin, and what I say to a lot of young players. What are you preparing? Have you already started to prepare to do after your career on the field? Have you got things in place, and you've started to put things in place, which I think is very important for players. Some players just carry on playing and things going to go on forever, but I think there should be always some sort of place for that. I'm going to be doing this after this to set yourself and for your family. Like you said, you've got a daughter now, so the thinking gets completely different once you have a child. So have you got things? I don't need you to tell us everything personal, Kev, but you understand what I'm trying to lay out here.
Yeah, no, yeah. I think I've always been sort of aware of how short of a career football is. I've always kept my eye out for doing courses and stuff like that, and I've done a few courses and I've not completed them, and I've got myself down about doing that. But I think football always plan A really distracted me from preparing for life after football. I think having my daughter made me realize that, look, football is here, but it won't be here in 5, maybe a year's time. It might not be here. And having my daughter really opened my eyes and accelerated sort of my mindset towards preparing for life after football. So I'm halfway qualified to becoming a financial advisor, which is what I'm doing right now. And I'm really enjoying that. I come to training, have some family time. When my daughter goes to bed, I do my studying, and that routine keeps me happy, and it keeps me. I can go to football, I can go to training, and I can enjoy it, whether it goes good or bad. I'll come home because I know that I'm building those blocks for my future. And yeah, I'm proud of myself as well, because it's tough, being a dad, being a footballer. I live in Milton Keynes at the moment, and Aldershot is 2 hours away. I come home, I'm tired, but I spend time with my family, and I still get my work done. And when I'm doing that, I wake up in the morning or I go to bed at night, and I'm happy, and I'm you know, I'm mentally clear with stresses, you know, no matter what happens with football, no matter what happens. And that's my biggest advice to young kids. Yes, look, plan A, whether it's football, whether it is something else, is very important, and put your max attention into that. However, if you have other interests, or if you're getting to that stage where you're thinking about doing other things, do it, because one, it's not gonna distract you from plan A. It's gonna supplement your whole being, and it's gonna help you perform on the pitch, and it will help you because you're a happier person. You know you've got something to fall back on. It can take a lot of stress away from playing on a match day. It's so important to keep yourself ready for your next career, and just keep your mind ticking, you know.
But Kevin, I think you'd be. I know you're doing what you're doing. I think you'd be a very good mentor, especially because you're very articulate, you're very clear, you're very precise in what you're saying. You'd be a very good mentor for young people who's in that career. Because people just don't understand the journey, what like yourself, Jose, and that go through being footballer and working your way up and down. They do not understand the journey. So people like yourself and Jose, be excellent at doing some mentoring with young footballers.
Yeah, no, I'd love to. 100%. Yeah. That's definitely we can look into. I think we've all been in situations where all sort of certain things, and I think it's about just helping people that are coming up, and you know, any sort of help that we can all bring, you know, us for as a whole, you know, and we should always be open to helping people, because I'm sure we wouldn't have got that help, and I'm talking for all of us here. I know for a fact that we wouldn't have as much help when we were back in the day as there potentially could be now. So we need to always make sure that people coming up are in better positions than what we were.
Yeah, love that. And what is your opinion about social media? Do you think players should be tweeting, should be posting, should it be on TikTok? What's your opinion about the whole social media environment?
I think you can have it. I think you have to be honest with yourself, and if you feel yourself getting in a position where you're on it an awful lot and it's influencing the way you feel about yourself and the world, I think if it's changing who you are and you're getting like fluctuations of emotions from it, then it's maybe time to limit it. I think if you can go in it for 10 minutes and go about your normal day, no problem, that's fine. I'm not someone that's me. I stay away from a lot of social media because I'm not very good at. I've got a very addictive personality, so if I was to jump on the timeline, I'll be scrolling. So for me, I stay away from it completely. That's just being honest. Some people aren't like that. Some people can go in it for 10 minutes and put it to the side. But if you feel like it's consuming you, and if it's affecting relationships, if it's affecting your football, if you're looking at comments too much, and if it's putting you in the bad mood, be honest with yourself and just tell yourself, look, let me just take a break, or let me just put it to the side. So it's very situational, I guess, to whoever it is. But me, my own experience is not great. I used to care a lot about what sort of fans would, especially in my earlier sort of senior career. I used to care a lot about fans. I used to care a lot about comments, positive or negative. You know, they will sort of fuel my emotions. And I think when I realized that was affecting my performances and even like my relationships and stuff, it gets that deep. It can affect a lot of things. So for me, I try not to go on it too much. I think I'm LinkedIn, sometimes Twitter, but that's it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And like, how do you, I'd say, react to away fans when they give? Well, I don't know. I mean, have you ever experienced abuse? And how do you react?
Yeah, so I was going to charge my phone. I just realised. So I've had a lot of it, really. So for example, I was at Maidstone. I was at Maidstone United in National League, and I got a move to Stevenage. So I was buzzing because it was League Two. But then when I signed for Stevenage, the 2 days later, the manager called me in his office and he said, "Kev, great to have you on board, but we think you need to go on loan straight away back to the National League." So in my mind, I was thinking, "Oh, okay, cool. Let's go back to Maidstone." I thought it was a weird situation because I've got my move. I was expecting to challenge and to play. It's only League Two. It's not like I've jumped up 3 leagues. They said go on loan. I said, "Okay, cool. I'll obviously go back to Maidstone then." They were like, "No, we don't want you to go to Maidstone. We want you to go to Dagenham Redbridge, because Dagenham were like sort of pushing up towards the top end of the league." So I thought that was strange because I was really enjoying my football in Maidstone. I got my move to the Football League, which is why I left. That's the only reason why I left. But they sent me along to Dagenham 2 days later. So I've gone to Dagenham, and the comments I got from Maidstone fans, it was enough to make a man go crazy. Like I was getting, and this is non-league. I didn't realise the passion in non-league at this time. Like it was crazy. Like, and Maidstone are well supported as well. So I had, I'm not even joking, 200, 300 fans tweeting me, at me on Twitter. They were cutting my head off and putting it on a Judas picture. Like it got that deep. Like I was getting all sorts of stuff. But yeah, that was a real challenge, and it did affect me, but I come through it, I think. And ever since that time, anything now doesn't affect me because I think I've been through quite a lot of negative stuff. And I was very I used to look at like fans forums a lot just to see what people were saying about me. And yeah, like I was in an awful spiral of just looking at and caring too much about what people thought of me. But when I stopped doing that, and as experience come and playing more games come, I become so thick-skinned that, if I see anything now, I just laugh. And anything I see now, negative or positive, I don't take it really in either way, in any way. Don't really get too excited or don't really get too down about it. It's just one man's opinion doesn't really matter because the only opinion that matters is yourself and your family, really. So I've took that with me, and yeah, there's nothing that can really break me at the moment.
Love that. Jose, your final question to Kevin.
So, what's the best advice that you wish you had when you were younger that you could give to someone coming through in professional football now?
Yeah, good question. I would say enjoy it as much as you can because it goes so quick. And when I say that, I mean really make sure that when you get to the end of your career or at any stage in your life, you can just look at yourself in the mirror and say that, look, I've done everything. And I know you said advice that that I wish I got given, but I'd like to think that I had that mindset already, but that's the best advice I can give anyone. Is just make sure you look in the mirror whenever you're driving somewhere and whenever you're getting your feelings, getting your emotions, and you just look and you can just say to yourself, I'm doing everything that I can do. And when you know you're doing that, good game, bad game, you can go home and you can enjoy your evening because you can't do better than your best. And that you can't leave any room for regret or to work harder, because then you're not doing it. You're not doing everything you can. So do everything you can, give it your all, and you can enjoy your life. That's basically, you can enjoy the journey. Like you can't do better than your best. So that's my key information or key bit of advice I give to a youngster coming up.
I love that. And Coach Barry, your final question.
Mine's to Kevin's like, it's very simple. Like, who's been the biggest influence, like manager? I know you said it's Welling. Is it Welling? You said
Welling.
Where did you develop the most? That's what I'm finding interesting, because it sounds like Welling was more. You developed more than Welling actually at the academy. So where do you think you've learned the more to become a professional? Was it at the academy in Norwich? What club do you think developed you the most to become a professional footballer?
Yes, obviously that year at Welling was my first year in senior football, and I learned an awful lot. I think in terms of clubs, the season following that, So when I went to Maidstone, and I went there with a team full of experienced players, whereas at Welling we were all quite young. At Maidstone, I learned so much from players that played in the Championship and they come down League One. The manager who had a lot of belief in me. I learned a lot from just being a sponge, and I'm someone who is always seeking new information and just ways to improve myself. And I got a lot of that at Maidstone because we had an experienced manager, experienced players, and
Sorry, who was the manager? You're the same. Who was the manager at Maidstone at the time?
Jay Saunders. So I say experience. He was quite a young manager at the time. Jay Saunders. But one thing he did have was a lot of trust and a lot of belief in me and in my potential, and I think that gave me a real boost. I'm not sure if you've come across Jay Saunders before, but he was a very, very cool, calm and collected manager who was a great man manager. And I think I've always done well under managers who I've had a good relationship with. And
man managed very well.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so that was my best sort of development year. And the year that I really learned a lot.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
There's a Jay. Do you know Jay at Norwich? Do you know the scout Jay at Norwich?
Jay who? Sorry.
At Norwich, the scout at Norwich called Jay.
Jay. What's his second name? You know his second name?
No, but I know he covers South London.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I got scouted by some guy called Colin Watts. He's quite old now, Colin. Yeah.
What would you think? The Echo League you got scouted?
Yeah. So I was playing Echo League. Yeah.
With Semrab. With Semrab in it.
Semrab. Interwood. You know what team. Yeah. So.
Don't worry, we used to bust their ass back in the day.
There was some talented footballers in Echo League, though. Wow.
Semrab had so many boys.
Yeah. Wasn't that who Ledley King come through? I think
John Terry, Andy King,
yeah,
Defoe. It can go on and on and on and on with Semrab.
Yeah. It's a good.
Still not better than South though. So.
I have to give it to though. South's the one for the footballers. They've got the real gems there.
Yeah,
amazing. Kevin, honestly, thank you so much for spending 45 minutes. And again, I've literally learned so much, and again, it just proves that, hey, you know what, footballers have emotions. They kind of have their ups and downs. And footballers can be honest, and again, thank you so much for being honest on this platform. Thank you so much.
And I think Kevin should seriously talk to young professional footballers.
100%.
You could be a great help to young professional, going to professional clubs and speaking to them. You'd be a great help. Seriously.
Just the experience that you've had, the stuff you've had as well. I feel like it's important for more people to listen to what you have to say. And even me, someone to watch you play in National League football, someone who still wants to come back and play in the UK. It's nice to listen to. It's nice to hear from that and learn from that. So thank you for coming.
I appreciate it, guys. No, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Anything, just give me a little message. It was great talking to you. Thank you so much.
Oh, brilliant, Kevin.
Thank you. Have a wonderful Sunday and have a wonderful week.
Lovely. You two guys. Take care. Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Take care. Cheers.
Wow, what a guy.
That was a great insight, wasn't it?
Just an incredible story to listen to as well.
Yeah.
Just the stuff he had to overcome as well. And it was interesting hearing that about his time at Harrogate as well, the League Two, because that's always difficult. You're a football player, you want to play football, and you still got your personal life as well. And it was really interesting to hear, honestly.
And it's very difficult. You get your big moves to a club, and then they send you on loan straight away. That must be you just bought me, and now you know what I mean?
Thing, every time you think, okay, things are gonna go, and then there's a step, a barrier or a challenge. It's difficult. It's so tough.
Very rare football is straight, plain safe.
It's crazy. And what he said as well is that, what's the word he said? The imposter syndrome. Again, that's, for a kind of professional player to kind of, openly talk about something like that. You can imagine, like, a lot of people, not only in football, but in every different, in like every different walks of life, having that feeling that, wow, like someday someone's gonna find me out and literally think I'm a fraud. It's just kind of hearing a professional footballer say that and could being so candid about his like emotions. It's it's very enlightening. Very yeah.
Do you know what? I can guarantee that in every single squad, in every single club, there is a big amount of players that feel that way, but don't have the courage to speak up about it.
Yeah.
It's so refreshing to hear, and I think it's important that more people open up about this, because players aren't alone with that. I'm sure there's loads of players feeling like that.
Well, a lot of top players still say they still get nerves before a game.
Of course.
I think that's healthy, that you get that little nerve going for the game.
Yeah.
What about you,
while you still got those nerves, while it's still there, it means you still got the drive for it as well.
Yeah, you're not just going through the motions.
Yeah. I got a message from who's this FS. He said to Reese, this like podcast nearly made me tear up. The same way a teen of a dancing came back from a long COVID back at Spearmint Rhino.
It's my mates, my Spearmint.
It's like his mate. That's kind of cool. You know what? I just saw it and I just had to laugh. But hey,
we ain't linked up yet. Great
stuff. But
I've got absolutely no context on that.
You know what? Honestly, like, you actually don't. But I mean, again, also as well, thank you, Jose, for like coming on. I know that, again, you are a professional footballer yourself. So hey, like, you kind of need like your like rest. So again, thank you for like coming on and spending this kind of hour with us, and hopefully I will see you next week.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be back next week for sure. It's now it's obviously the time zone difference. Finland's 2 hours ahead.
Oh, 2 hours ahead.
Oh, ahead.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Wow, Jose, go.
It's all good.
Get some sleep, man. Go.
Every Sunday. To be honest, it's only because tomorrow morning I have to wake up early because my parents are going back to Portugal, so I'm dropping them off in an airport 2 hours away. But every Sunday I'll be on. I'll be good for it.
Yeah.
I didn't know much about Finland, to be honest, before I came, so I'm finding out as I'm here, and it's exciting. But
amazing.
How are you getting on with the language? Because I know it's a very difficult language.
It's tough.
I'm
trying.
It's one of the hardest languages to learn.
Yeah, it is. I found it very difficult. The good thing is everyone like speaks quite good English, to be honest, and everyone's like, it's interesting because you can tell that it's like people are quite timid sometimes, but they want to speak. But there's like not stigma, but there's this thing surrounding where they just don't engage, but they want to. Yeah. And when someone comes in from abroad and they're different, it's exciting. And I found that everyone was so helpful, which I've really liked. I've settled in quite well. It's actually, I'm really loving it, to be honest.
Yeah, love that. And like, maybe we should do a Q&A with like you soon as well. So hey, again, guys, watch this space. But yeah, Jose, please go. So before we kind of go into the vets, we're going to take a 2-minute advert, and we'll be back. Yeah, very, very soon.
All right.
Alrighty, we are back. We are back. Wow, that was amazing. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing with Kevin and also with like Jose as well. Thank you. Thank you to the both of them for like coming onto the show. So yeah, let's kind of go straight into the vets segment. It's literally just gonna be a quick little rundown. And we'll just keep it short and sweet. And then of course after the show, I will literally tell you guys who I've got on as for like next week. But literally let me wait until after the vet segment. So the results from yesterday in Division 2, Seagas 2, Norwood Lakers 2, and Sporting Santos got the home win. Bow Street forfeited the game. So how the table looks at this present moment in time: Independent are first, Sporting a second, Cray Wanderers third, Catford fourth, Wallenham fifth, London South sixth, Seagas seventh, Bow Street eighth, Leone Stars ninth, Norwood Lakers 10th, and Blackheath, who folded, bottom. Going up to Division 1. The fixtures for like this coming week: Bow Street versus Norwood Lakers, Catford versus Cray, Sporting Santos versus LSUB, and Wallenham versus Seagas. And then let's go to Division 1. It was a away win for Charcoal. I'm not too sure why Defiance. Defiance 4 for the game. Glebe 4, London South A 4. It looked like a very entertaining game. And Johnson and Phillips 1, Stansfield 1. And the table, as it stands right now: Charcoal first, LSU second, Stansfield third, Glebe fourth, New Park fifth, Johnson and Phillips sixth, Metro Gas seventh, Defiance eighth, and Cullerham, who have folded, bottom by default. And the games for next week: Glebe versus Johnson and Phillips, LSU A versus Stansfield, and New Park Vets versus Charcoal. So Independent didn't play yesterday. We played the previous week against Norwood Lakers. We beat them 2-1 with I'd say like a last minute goal. So that kind of stopped the rot. I don't know if the rot is the right word, but it was kind of good to kind of get a win.
The bad run.
It was a bad run. But again, I think all like teams will kind of go on a run or on a kind of bad run. So like hopefully we've turned a corner now. Fingers crossed. So yeah, it's as simple as that. But so for next week, I have a very, very special guest. And again, he'll be coming on at the same time. I have Connor Washington on the show next week, Sunday. Northern Ireland International. Ooh. And Charlton striker. So Connor will be on next week. And again, we'll be asking him questions about his football journey. And again, Connor is an active player. So again, he's got insight that, a lot of players, like a lot of people, a lot of players may not have. So yeah, it'd be kind of, I'm really excited about having Connor on. Coach, anything to do with Independent for this week? What is going on?
We just got league fixtures this week. We're waiting for our cup fixtures to be named by the league to see who we're playing in the quarterfinals. We've got 3 teams in the quarterfinals, so we're waiting to see who our opponents will be. They haven't done the draw yet, and it's going to get a bit frustrating for some of the players and us as managers and coaches. We want to know who our oppositions are for these games. So that's what we're waiting for. But next week is just straightforward league fixtures we have next week. Okay. I'm surprised that the Vets haven't got a game like 2 weeks now.
Yeah, well, I'm not too sure why we've not got a game this coming Saturday.
Friendlies arranged?
There's a friendly in the pipeline.
Okay.
Just crossing the T's, dotting the I's. It's really important, especially at our.
Oh yeah, but have we got a cup game coming up soon?
We have a cup game against
What-
Charcoal on
When
the 19th of March. That's
Ooh.
for Beckenham Cup.
Yeah.
So it's so like it's so of course it's not the best preparation, but again, it's kind of now down to us knowing that we don't have a game on Saturday to arrange a friendly or literally arrange some an exhibition game. Do I think training would be good enough? I mean, it all depends on how many players come training. I think, and again, this kind of goes, Saturdays and Sunday league. The moment you say that there's not a game but it's training, you will always see a drop of like people that will say that it can make it. But if it's a friendly, then you're more than likely to.
Yeah, but we've got enough time now. We know already to arrange a game, haven't we? We've got enough time.
Yeah. And Mr. said in the Division 2, and I think I mentioned it. I can't remember where I mentioned it. I think at this present moment, Catford are probably I'd say Catford are the form team in Division 2 at this present moment in time. I think they've won the last 4 or 5, I believe.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah.
They won 5.
Yeah, I think they've won either 4 on the bounce or 5.
Well, we can't knock that, can we? Well done. Well done.
Yeah,
excellent.
Well done. And and again, I always said at the beginning, if you can look on one of my first shows, I can always say that Catford would be one of like the dark horses, in the division. And with Cullum folding, I think there could be a possibility that 3 teams may go up in Division 2. Because again, no one wants teams to forfeit games because they can't get out teams in kind of literally any division. We kind of want to be as competitive as possible. Possibly, Division 1 needs freshening up. And then again, just to kind of make it spicy, of course, with Charcoal, with LSUA, with Stansfield, it's a very competitive league, 100%.
Yeah. I'm happy for Nana, and he's not here, so I can congratulate him.
Yeah, listen, I mean, again, he's
on Ainsley as well.
Yeah, Ainsley.
Very surprised, Nana.
Yeah. Well done. And it's kind of literally, and again, I don't know a lot about Division 1, and literally, of course, I kind of look for like people to like tell me more about Division 1. But again, like Charcoal have come in and literally they are unbeaten and literally they're at top. Of course, LS, like you are there now, they are kind of in a rebuilding process as well. Stansfield are like going to be rebuilding for like next season. So again, there's some really quality. Glebe as well. So yeah, so we could imagine if like teams like Independent, Catford, Santos, even Cray, Wanderers, go up into Division 1, how competitive the like vet scene will actually be. So again, it's kind of good to still be involved in the kind of vets league, but of course, not having 2 games because of whatever reason, it's kind of not great. And personally, for myself, of course, I need game time. I played today though, which I'm kind of happy about. Yeah, I know, coach, you are smiling there. Yeah, we will like have our conversations later on.
Yeah,
That's brilliant. It's brilliant. But yeah, again, when you kind of get to my age, and coach, you can probably vouch for it. Like you just have to, enjoy playing football and just enjoy.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Kicking a ball around. Actually, when was the last time that you actually played football?
Yesterday, training with the 10-year-olds. Coaching the 10-year-olds. I look good as well.
Oh dear. But I mean, when I came to film You're Like Boys, I could see how focused you were, and you know, I could see that you was already playing different phases in your head. And you know, if like certain things were not happening, you would just pull them up straight away. So that is basically you playing. And you know, you can't buy that experience.
I'm strict on the details, small things, whatever coaches let go, I don't let go. Because I think they're very important if you want to go to a very high level. It's the small things what you put right. What a lot of people just let go and think, "I'll get away." You can't get away with that at the top level. So I try to instill that in them, that even the small little things, what you think, work on it, tidy it up, clean it up, and just make your game solid, all round solid performances. Yeah. Consistency is the key, which is one of our sayings anyway.
Yeah, and
so consistent touch, everything you do, shooting, has to be consistent all round, defending, attacking. You know that anyway, Tabriz.
Yeah,
and coached as well.
Yeah, and you know, just kind of watching and how like the boys responded to you and Coach Frank. There was that level of respect. You know, it's just something that maybe because I haven't been around under 15s and the 14s before, so actually I don't know how they act, but you know, there was this, you know, there was just air of silence every time you and Coach spoke. Coach Frank spoke, just an air of silence, and
because it's both ways. What I've installed into the club that they've got a voice too, so we always let the youngsters have a voice. So it's not us talking to them; they can respond. So they have a voice. They know if they say something, we listen. So it's about trust and respect for each other, and that's why you get that interaction between us and the players. That's why it's there.
Yeah, amazing. And I know that you and Jose said that Kevin should like be a mentor. Well, you were a mentor to a lot of kids. So you know, literally, and I know that you don't talk about it, but you do a lot behind the scenes that people just do not know about. And you know, I know that we banter a lot and whatnot. But again, you know, I just want to just say again, thank you for everything that you do, not only for Independent but also for South like London as well. And again, like it's just unbelievable all of the stuff that you do. It's incredible. Honestly.
Other people can do it as well. We just have to put where our heart is, isn't it? You just do what your heart is. And that's the main thing. Everyone's got a different drive. That's my drive, so that's what I do. Everyone's drive is different, but just be passionate. Anything you're going to do in life, be passionate. And like Kevin said, give it 100%. So you can look in the mirror and say, I've done my best. I gave it all. You don't have to go away and think, I could have done that and I should have. That's all a waste of time. Just give it your all, isn't it?
Yeah. So
that's what you can ask for players as well. Just give it your best. You walk with that pitch, and as I said, there's no need sometimes to be shouting at players, arguing. Tabriz, you know when you haven't given it all. Everyone knows when they haven't done their best. So there's no need to be shouting. So that's why we don't really promote that side of coaching or managing.
Yeah, so true. Thank you to everyone that's been watching. Let me just say again, we have Connor Washington coming on next week. Yeah. So like please tune in and get your questions ready. Again, Liverpool Cup, League Cup champions once again. Hey, you know, again, what a penalty shootout. I don't care, you know, hey, you know, again, there's more trophies in the cabinet.
I can't deny that. I can't deny that. It's like I said, enjoy while it lasts, man. I would be the same, Tabriz. I'd be exactly.
Coach, thank you so much for like coming on.
Bless everyone there, man.
Definitely. And this has been the Stoppage Time Penalty Show. We will see you again next week, Sunday, 8 until 9:30. Have a wonderful week. Have a positive week. And yeah, you know, whatever you do in life, just make sure that you try your best. Because again, you know, God loves a trier.